All right, today we're going to dig into a real medical classic, Nystatin. For over 70 years, it's been the go-to for some of the most common fungal infections out there. But the real question is, how does this old-school drug still dominate in an age of super advanced medicine? Well, let's find out. So first up, a little question for you. What could possibly connect the white patches of thrush you see in a baby's mouth with the really uncomfortable redness of a diaper rash? I mean, they seem like totally different problems, right? But as we're about to see, they often share a common cause, and more importantly, a common solution. The story of nystatin is actually pretty cool. It starts back in 1950, discovered in a soil sample from, of all places, New York State, which is actually where the nystat in the name comes from. It just exploded in popularity and became a cornerstone for treating infections from Candida yeast, the culprit behind things like thrush and diaper rash. And what's wild is that even today, with all the fancy new drugs we have, it is still one of the most prescribed antifungals on the entire planet. That kind of staying power really says something about how well it works. So how does it actually work? This is where things get really, really clever. See, nystatin doesn't just, slow the fungus down. It launches a very specific and very lethal attack. Okay, so this slide gets to the heart of it. It highlights the one fundamental difference between our cells and fungal cells. Think of these sterols, ergosterol and cholesterol, as the key structural beams that hold a cell's wall together. Fungi use a beam called ergosterol. We humans, we use a different one, cholesterol. And that single difference, that is the secret to nystatin's power. And this brings us to a really core principle in pharmacology, selective toxicity. It's basically the holy grail of medication, right? The goal is to find something that viciously attacks the bad guy, the invader, while leaving our own cells completely unharmed. And nystatin is an absolute master of this because it has this huge chemical attraction to ergosterol, but it pretty much ignores our cholesterol. It can tell the difference between friend and foe on a molecular level. And this just brilliantly illustrates what happens next. First, the nystatin molecules, they find and lock on to the ergosterol, the fungus's structural beams. Then they basically team up, ganging together to form these channels that literally punch holes right through the cell wall. And that just causes chaos. Vital stuff starts leaking out, junk from the outside flows in, the cell's whole internal environment is breached, and that leads directly to cell death. It's not just messing with the fungus, it is killing it. But here's where the story takes this really fascinating turn. For all its precision on a tiny cellular level, nystatin has one major characteristic that, in almost any other drug, would be considered a critical, deal-breaking flaw. Yeah, the source material describes this property as a double-edged sword. And honestly, that is the absolute perfect way to frame it. It's a trait that makes the drug both incredibly limited and, at the very same time, incredibly useful. And here it is, the big flaw. Your body is just terrible at absorbing nystatin. I mean, if you swallow it, it pretty much just passes right through your system without ever entering your bloodstream. If you put it on your skin, it just stays there. It is a strictly local operator. But here is the brilliant part. This inability to be absorbed, it isn't a weakness at all. It's actually nystatin's superpower. I mean, think about it for a second. Because it never gets into your bloodstream, it can't cause systemic side effects throughout your body. It works exactly where you put it and nowhere else. This also means it's not going to interfere with any other medications you might be taking, which is a huge advantage. So yeah, while it's completely useless for a deep internal infection, it is perfectly, and I mean perfectly, designed for the superficial ones it's meant to treat. So the crucial point is just this. The very thing that should make nystatin a failed drug is precisely what makes it one of the safest and most reliable tools we have. Its greatest limitation is its greatest asset. And this unique property, it directly dictates how nystatin is used. This is not a one-size-fits-all drug. It's more like a specialized toolkit designed for local combat. And this table here shows that toolkit perfectly. So for oral thrush, you use a liquid suspension to coat the inside of the mouth and throat. For a diaper rash, you use a cream. For those tricky moist skin folds, a powder works best to keep the area dry. And get this, even the oral tablets aren't meant for absorption. They're designed to travel all the way through the intestines just to treat a fungal overgrowth right there. Each and every formulation is perfectly tailored to deliver the drug to a specific surface and keep it there. So let's wrap this up. Nystatin is a classic for a reason.
It uses this brilliant, targeted kill mechanism that leaves our cells alone. Its defining flaw, the fact that it's not absorbed, is actually the secret to its incredible safety. And all this makes it a true master of local combat, giving doctors the exact right tool for the right job every single time.
And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? The story of Nystatin kind of challenges how we think about what makes a medication good. It forces us to ask, how can a drug's greatest weakness also be its greatest strength? It's just a powerful reminder that in medicine, sometimes the most effective solution is the one that knows its own limits.